welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another Real Housewives. Well, this is slightly different. I am going to basically do a little bit of a synopsis of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and also I want to talk about the Bad Bunny Bowl, or the Benito Bowl, as I like to call it. And also some content updates on the channel. So before we get into it, let me be fully transparent. I had a gnarly, and I mean a gnarly flu last week. Like, I thought I was being taken out. So the reason why you did not get Beverly Hills and haven't got Beverly Hills review is really that reason. I literally was out. Like, I was sick. My throat, it was mainly like in my throat, and you could kind of still hear a little bit of it. And like, my head, like, I couldn't breathe. It was crazy. Now I'm 100% now, I would say. But I still have a cough that's lingering that will not go away. This cough is just crazy. But I feel better. I feel 100%. Like, I'm functional and stuff. So that's what is the main thing that has happened recently, is that I thought your girl was gonna make it. Okay. What else? Let's kind of also talk real quick about. Let's first talk about the halftime show and the backlash that's happened with that, and then let's talk about Beverly Hills. So, for those who are not from the United States of these Americas, or I guess the Americas, it's Black History Month here. So, and one thing that I loved about Bad Bunny's performance, it was very Black history. It was Latina. It was like Latin history, like, Latin American history, but Latin American history is Black history. For those who don't really know, it really is. Especially when it comes to Puerto Rican culture. If you know the history of that, you understand that, like, it's very much part of the diaspora, and that is part of their culture. Like, drums, that's an African thing. And all the different drums and rhythms and beats and reggaeton and all those different genres within Latin American music is African coded. And in the Caribbean, that is from, Africa. So it's just really, really cool seeing this performance. And if you know the history, it makes more sense. So the fact that some people, and not y'all, but some of y'all were uproar about the performance being all in Spanish, it's like, newsflash, guys, English is not the national language. Like, it's not an official national language here. Okay. And also too, a lot of the world speaks Spanish, a variation of Spanish. And for those who have been on my channel, y'all already know I have a love for Puerto Rico. Like, it's a special place in my heart. I actually went there for my 40th, and I did not do the touristy thing like I did towards the end, but like, I actually went to kind of embrace myself in the culture and to learn more and to get more informed. So let's kind of break down what was happening at each segment. So at the very beginning, we see the sugar cane. Now, if you don't know your history, you're not understanding why this is very Black history coded. It is. It's Caribbean history, but it's Black history. Like, in the Caribbean, the sugar cane was basically their cotton. So, how the English were doing what they were doing here in the United States when it came to us and cotton, and and the colonies were doing what they were doing with us in cotton, that was what was happening in the Caribbean and a lot of the Latin American areas, but it was sugar cane. And basically we're enslaving both the indigenous and African people. And that is basically how Puerto Rico and really like Dominican Republic, that's how the cultures were formed a lot of ways. And so if you know that, you know that. So when you're watching this, you understand that, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. And the reason why I actually kind of know this also is when I visited Puerto Rico back on for my 40th, I actually went to where the last sugar mill was at. Like I went to that area of Puerto Rico. Like that's actually where I visited first, because I really wanted to understand the history and really be informed in the culture. Like for me, a valuable vacation is not just about doing the touristy thing. If anything, I actually don't like doing the touristy things. I want to be embracing the culture. I want to understand and be one, you know. And also too, like I understand what the United States did to Puerto Rico and is still doing to them. Like I don't agree with it, you know. And so that was the other thing that I enjoyed when it came to performance. So we started with that, the sugarcane thing, and you know, Bad Bunny wearing the hat that, you know, farmers and people who were doing those things were wearing, and you actually see that there too to this day. And then from there, then we went, and that was another thing too that I think people didn't realize, is that was a little bit of a tour of like, that wasn't in the San Juan area. Like, I mean, at some point in time probably was all over the island, but like what is still remaining there. So for those who ever visit, it's actually, I'll put the name here because you already know I'm not the best when it comes to speaking Spanish anymore, and I'm not very good at enunciating, so we'll put that here. I think it's called Yabuca, but again, I'll put the name here of where you can go and visit that and really be informed. Now, it's kind of pretty much in ruins, and they do say if you're going here, go kind of at your own risk, because the sugar mill is there, but it's not what it was. But if you know the history of like, I don't even want to get into all of that when it comes to the sugar mill, what the United States ended up doing with all of that, but it's diabolical. Okay. So yeah, but so when I saw that portion at the very beginning, I probably got more out of it, just the visual, than probably most people would, because I knew that history already. Because I feel like most people don't know that history. But for me, I had to find out the history on my own. I didn't learn that in a book. I actually asked, and I went down there. And even though my Spanish is not the best, I tried and, you know, talked to the people while I was there. Like a lot of the places that I was visiting at and frequenting while I was there were places where there was not a lot of English speaking, so I had to figure it out. Which that was what I wanted, because at one point in time, ironically, I actually used to be pretty fluent in Spanish. Now, Puerto Rican Spanish, no, because they do speak quicker than what I'm accustomed to. Area where I grew up at in Indiana, it was mainly Mexican farmer Spanish, and it's a little bit more of a slower paced Spanish. And I actually can speak that a little bit better. And I know more of Mexican slang. I don't really know Puerto Rican slang. And some of the words that mean something for like, we can get more into that. And if you want to really learn more about that as a whole, definitely check out my vlog when it comes to my Puerto Rico trip. I'll put that in the description. I'll put that like at the end of the video that you could click it so you understand what I'm getting at, because I don't want to make this another video about the same thing that I've already talked about before. So yeah, but anyway, I really enjoyed the very beginning of it, and I already saw that, okay, this is going to be a message the whole entire way. Now, some of the things I was not privy to, it was not educated on, and I actually found out via social media. But I love social media for that reason, because it informed me some of the other things that were happening in this performance. And let's kind of get into that. Now, another thing that was going on, and also I'm not going to be really going in order, and let me know in the comments if I missed some things here, because I'm sure I have, because I'm just kind of going off of what I remember. I'm not really going back to watching it. I will, but like, I'm not going to go back just to do that and review this. So the other thing that I got from this too, ironically, look at this, I'm wearing a Latin American related type situation. So random side note, I wear this shirt a lot. It's actually one of my favorite shirts, and it's a shirt that you get it's a variation of the shirt that we get every single year if you do the Day of the Dead race in Pilsen, which is historically like Mexican neighborhood in Chicago. But this is like literally my favorite shirt. It's like my most comfortable shirt that I love to wear, and it's long sleeve, and it's just my favorite. And honestly, I got this by accident. I originally thought I ordered a tech shirt, because a running tech, but then I got this instead. And I'm actually actually glad that I didn't get the tech shirt, because I do not love wearing tech shirts casually. I love wearing these like I love wearing this casually. So it actually was like a happy mistake. But anyway, so the other part of the halftime show. So one thing I also learned is the person who did the choreography for the halftime show is actually the same person who did the choreography for Kendrick Lamar performance. And I think one other performance when it comes to Super Bowl, possibly. And that was a Black woman. So again, Black history. And I just love it. The other thing that I got from the halftime show that I really enjoyed was the grass. That was funny. But it that was a funny note. Also, too, the other thing I noticed with the halftime show was that Afro-Latinas are represented. And I really appreciated that. You know, when it comes to Latin America, similar to the United States, there is issues with colorism and stuff like that. And honestly, that's like a worldly thing. It's not just America's thing. But I noticed, for me, and this is my experience, I know they probably still have colorism and all that in Puerto Rico, but my experience when I was visiting, I didn't see that. It wasn't as, it actually seemed like it was more embracing than than a lot of other places. So, especially when it came to like getting informed and getting information, like I really felt very welcome there. I did not feel like a tourist, even though I knew I was a tourist. Probably because similar struggles, you know. And I'm not there on that kind of time trying to like be a colonizer. So I mean, maybe that's why I had a different experience, but I don't know. Anyway, what was I getting at? Oh, so then the other thing I noticed too was the LGBTQIA plus. I saw it and I was loving it. The other thing that I did not know until afterwards, I was trying to figure it out the whole entire time I was watching it. I was like, are these two people getting married actually at the halftime show? That was a real wedding. That is like the best real wedding ever. And the thing is, they have this now, like, they have a video without having to have a video forever. Isn't that dope? So that was another thing that came out of it. And then another thing that I didn't really know about until I, I kind of figured that's what it was, because they're dressed more urban. And don't do me. You already know what I mean by that. Not like they're dressed more city-like. So New York was heavily represented in this halftime show. But if you know the history and you know the migration of it all, a lot of Puerto Ricans settled in New York. I wish, and I will say this, it was slightly represented. I wish I would have put Chicago in there too, because we do have a Puerto Rican presence in Chicago as well. It's like either they go to New York or they go to Chicago. And there's actually a neighborhood called Humboldt Park here where a lot of them congregate and settle at. And like, it's awesome. So I did like that too. So that was another thing. And then one of the people who were there was someone who actually has a supper club situation in Brooklyn. And they've been trying to gentrify it for, if you already know the history in New York, you already know about the gentrification of it all. And they've tried to kick this lady out of her neighborhood for a long time. But she's still standing. She's still there. So that was another representation that we saw there. And then we also saw like a stand from Los Angeles that was there. We did get a little bit of Chicago when they had one of the trumpet people playing for like when he did... he did the intro to I can't, Morocco, I think is the name of the song. Like like, and also too, I love that in the performance he had like a small version of him, and he's handing the small version of him a Grammy, like, and very much just like believe in yourself, and he's saying all that too. And also too, when he did a little bit of the intro and he said, if you already know what's like demon, like when he says that at the very beginning, he basically saying, I'll give you what you want. And then right when he does that, pan to Lady Gaga. And I was like, I am dead. And side note, that intro that he was doing for that song, that's actually one of my favorite Bad Bunny songs, like in general. Like I listen to that song randomly all the freaking time. Like I love that song. Because it's a very braggadocious song. If you know the song, he's basically just saying, I have it. Like I'm me. I'm that person. Like that is what that song's about, and I love that song for that reason. But anyway, so we get Lady Gaga, and Lady Gaga's version is actually Lady Gaga and a Bruno Mars song. But that version, that salsa version, I like it better than the original. I was like, go off, sis. Go off. And for those who watch the Grammys, I feel like we should have been warned that this was about to happen. Because Lady Gaga and Bad Bunny were unusually very talky at the Grammys, I noticed. And that was like kind of an Easter egg that we didn't know what we were getting. And so Lady Gaga being there was amazing. And then also too, where they were at the kind of garage situation. I forgot what that's called, but I've actually been to one of those. I was in Puerto Rico. And those things are like, yeah, those things are amazing when you go to one of those things. It wasn't quite like that. Where I went to in Puerto Rico, it was very much a farmer's town, like a smaller town. So the men were the ones who'd be out at the bars, and the women are at home and stuff with their children and all that. It was really giving that kind of a situation, but not in a bad way. It's just a cultural thing. It's not good or bad. I can't really, that's not my thing to judge. But it pretty much was kind of giving that. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been to one of these. Like, so like for me, the halftime show, I was kind of getting my life for a different reason, because I actually seen a lot of this when I was actually there myself. So I was just like, wow. So I was getting my whole entire life watching this halftime show and the message behind all of it. And even from there, and when they're at the house situation, we have Jessica Alba's randomly there, Cardi B's randomly there, like, and then from there we have Ricky Martin singing the song that honestly that hit me a different way too, with Ricky Martin singing that song about how he does not want Puerto Rico to become Hawaii. And that song hit differently for me too, because I've talked to people when I was there and they have that sentiment, and I understand it. If you know the history, a lot of people who really, are about that life, they don't want that. Yes, tourism can be great, but over tourism can be very, very bad. And I don't know, like, one of the main messages I got, and I kind of already felt this way again, watch my video when I talk about Puerto Rico from before. I want them to be independent. I do not want them to be part of the United States. I don't want them to be a colony anymore. I want them to be their own nation. And I want the United States to stop sabotaging them. I really wish they would just stop. I really wish the United States would stop sabotaging half of the Caribbean islands just in general. We're not going to get into that here, but that was another thing that I was taking away when I was watching this. So even though it was a very inspiring performance, it was a very historical performance, it was a lot to it. And I feel like you could miss it if you don't really know all that. So I was getting a lot out of the performance other than it being entertaining. I was like, this is entertaining, it's historical, it's black, it's all the things. It's like black and brown representation, but like not even black and brown. Like, hello, there are white Latino people, like Latinos and Latinas, like, or Latinxes. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I forget. I don't know what the best way of saying it is, but similar to the United States, we have all shades and creeds in the United States. It's like that when it comes to all the other Latin American countries. It's the same. So hearing some of the sentiments that we heard from like the people who were hating this halftime show, I'm like, your slip is showing. The slip is showing. What else do we get from this halftime show? And I did not mean for this to be this long, talking about the halftime show, but the Beverly Hills review is not going to be very long. So, yeah, anyway, let's move on. Then the other thing I will take away from this halftime show that I really, really did like and enjoy also is that we also went into the power grid situation. And what Hurricane Harvey did, and the lack of what y'all president, because he ain't my president, did during his first term. And the disrespect of them being a colony and them not doing anything about it. To this day, by the way, and I mentioned this already in my old video, like I said before, there are roads that you cannot drive through in Puerto Rico because they were never fixed from that hurricane. And that hurricane happened during his first term. So like 8 years ago, almost, I think it happened in like 2016, 2017, 2018. But before 2020. So at least over 6 years ago. I don't remember the timeline of when that hurricane was, but it was during his term. And the fact that they have their own power grid, and if you also understand the politics of Puerto Rico, because again, they're not considered a state, so they have their own government, but it's corrupt because a lot of those officials want to become a state. There's a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So even that little scene where we're watching people, the local people, they're not the government trying to fix the power gridding situation themselves because they don't have the help to fix it. There's a lot to that. And I kind of just broke down a little bit of why that is. And so, again, this performance was just so powerful and so good and just amazing. And also just reminding us that why, you know, representation truly does matter. And I love at the very end, and I know I'm kind of speeding through at this point, but like at the very end, he puts it all on the boat and he states the Americas, because we're all very valuable and important, and the best way to fight hate is love. And I love that message that he did at the end. And for those who felt a way about that, look in the mirror and find out why you felt the way about that. So to me, again, it was a very powerful halftime show. I liked it even more than I liked Kendrick's last year, and Kendrick's was powerful too. But Bad Bunny, he can't do any wrong for me. And for those who already know, I am a Bad Bunny fan. Like, I already was looking forward to it. I already knew it was going to be something because I've been following Bad Bunny for a minute now. Like, I love me some Bad Bunny. I just do. I do. The whole entire time I was down there, when I went there for my 40th, I just was blasting Bad Bunny everywhere. It was Bad Bunny and Selena Del Cruz. Because, like, that's actually what introduced me to the chat when it comes to Latin American music. And she is a legend and one of the first, like, mainstream, like, Afro-Latina, like, yeah. She's Cuban, but all part of that diaspora of it all. So, like, it was just such a good halftime show. Like, I enjoyed it so much. So I wanted to come on here at the very bare minimum and talk about that. Now that we got that out the way, though, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm just going to talk about every single person individually and what's going on with them. And I'm still on the fence on whether I'm going to review the show for the rest of the season or not. We'll get into that, like, now. Side note. So the other thing is, for those who are new to my channel, you probably saw that Whisper's here around here somewhere. She is right there. Okay? She's not that far. Never too far. So let's get into the other thing I kind of wanted to talk about, was Beverly Hills. So I'm getting conflicting information, and people think that this season is a slow burn. And maybe it is, but I'm just not interested in the slow burn. And I don't know if anyone else is or not. Like, and I feel bad, but, like, I'm not motivated to... I'm not enjoying Beverly Hills. I don't know why. It's just something is still just missing. They really need a cast shakeup super badly. To me, it's still not as bad as New York. But it's just kind of just, it's very unseasoned. And I don't know. So let me get into each person, and we'll kind of wrap it up from there. So Amanda, I think part of my issue is with this show is they're focusing so heavy on Amanda, and it does feel like they're piling on her. It does feel like a little bit of a pile on. But at the same time, along with it feeling like there's a little bit of a pile on, it also, to me, is giving... she's kind of not likable at the same time. So, like, I don't really... The pile on doesn't hit the same all the way because... And I'm not really on her side all the way as much as I probably could be, because I do find her annoying all at the same time. So there's a little bit of duality there. Because I do kind of agree with some of the things the ladies are saying about her. I think she's not showing her real self. I feel like she's showing a representative of herself, and there's a lot of posturing. But at the same time, I do feel like they're all picking on her too. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. And also, I think if they are going to do a cast shakeup, they do need more millennials on the show. Because I'm sick of this thing where we have these Gen Xers, and I'm not trying to make it a millennial Gen Xer thing, but Mainly I'm speaking to Kyle when I'm speaking about this is because she tried to compare Amanda to Crystal Kominkoff. And I'm just like, just because they're both millennials and their self-awareness is intact and they know how to actually use words properly. Now, Amanda saying that Dorit accosted her, that was a reach a little bit. A little bit. Like it was giving a little bit of Karen. But she did use a word correctly. like, but yeah, I didn't like Kyle's comment and like taking a random dig at Crystal Kominkoff. And really, honestly, I wish Crystal could come back and maybe get rid of some of the older people on this show. And get more people that are a little bit more in the millennial age. Because again, I feel like some of these women on the show are aging out. Just because there's nothing else to talk about when it comes to their story. So why are they still here? And maybe that's the other reason why I'm not buying in as much this season when it comes to Beverly Hills, because I'm just kind of like, okay, at this point now, there's 3 people with the same story. And Dorit, Kyle, and now Rachel Zoe in the divorce storyline. It's not interesting when there's multiple people having a similar storyline. It just isn't. And Kyle is not being fully transparent about hers. Dorit is making everything about it. And then Rachel now is doing a similar thing. And I get why and the thing is, I feel like Rachel's would hit way differently because hers just freshly happened. If Dorit wasn't already hogging all the screen time on her divorce storyline. And so for me, it's just kind of like, okay, 3 women that are miserable on our screen talking about their failed relationships. Is it an interesting story? Yes. But do I really care to hear from the women that are speaking it? Rachel Zoe, yes, a little bit, but it's being overshadowed because I'm hearing it from Dorit, who I really am at the point where I'm just kind of over that. And Dorit's lashing out at everyone again. And honestly, this is a rinse repeat of last season. And same thing with Kyle, and Kyle not being a great friend to Dorit. It's another rinse repeat. And Kyle basically thinking everyone's divorces are like candy canes and rainbows just because hers is going smoothly, because she's not actually going through a divorce. She's actually just separated. Because there might be a chance of them getting back together and letting Mo cheat in peace again. See, this is why I'm kind of just like, I don't know. But that's like basically what I just explained there with Kyle. That's literally her storyline. I wish we would focus a little bit more on Kyle's daughter Portia getting married, because I would be interested in that. And then we also saw that Kyle broke down because she went to Amanda's house, which used to be her old house, that we saw on the show, and with Mo, and they toured and saw what she did differently with the house, and she broke down, started crying. And so Kyle wants to get back with Mo. That's clear as mud. She wants to go back to the way they were before. Mo is giving he's indifferent. I think he is still enjoying living life, and that's what he's doing. But does he have any intentions of actually divorcing her? No. And that was made clear the last 2 episodes, because again, I'm not going to do them separately. It could all be one episode for me. I'll be honest with you, because I watch them both back to back, and to me, I was like, this could have been all one episode. But that's kind of really what's going on with Kyle, and Kyle's also not getting along with Dorit, because Kyle still is not being a girl's girl when it comes to Dorit's situation. Although Kyle does have a point to a degree, Kyle and Amanda have a point when it comes to Dorit and her shooting herself in the foot by talking too much about, PK. Because really, Dorit probably is talking too much. But at the same time, that's not her place to say that. really, as a friend, she should just be there for her. And if she really does feel that Dorit's talking too much, talk to Dorit about it one-on-one, and don't make it where you rally the troops to tell everyone that and then have other people have the similar opinion as you. But Amanda has a similar opinion too, and with Amanda, it comes off like an off-putting thing because Amanda doesn't know Dorit from a can of paint. But at the same time, I feel like Stevie Wonder can see that Dorit is talking too much when it comes about her ex-husband, because it's going to make the divorce messier. I'm sorry, but to me, it's just an obvious thing. But from like Dorit's standpoint, she sees it as she is just venting to her friends, and if she can't vent to her friends, who can she vent to? I understand that, but you're also on national TV. So these are like what's going on with that. So in a nutshell, that is the conflict that's going on between Dorit, Kyle, and Amanda. Amanda is being an extra victim when it comes to the whole entire situation. Is she still saying she's not over the situation and everything because of Dorit and the timing of her bringing up with like her her son, death anniversary. And both try to pose a good point, but she also missed the mark at the same time. Let's get into that a little bit too. So with Bose, Bose clearly doesn't like Amanda, and we know that. We've seen the writings on the walls from very beginning that that's what's going on. And so with Bose, she thinks that Bose and Rachel, they all think that Amanda's like weaponizing the death anniversary of her son to kind of get out of situations. And honestly, I felt that way too. I think I said that in the last video. I felt it was a little bit of that happening as well. But at the same time, it still should have been a situation where Dorit should have just left it alone. After she said what she said, leave it alone, resume another date. Put a pin in it and talk to her about another date, about your feelings. And so, but Bose is speaking as if she was there. And also the way the message was relayed to her, Bose is missing the point that this was actually the day of the anniversary. It wasn't just the fact that her son passed away, because Bose has a similar experience, but she doesn't view it the same way. But also, too, it wasn't on the anniversary. And also, too, I feel like with Bose, her situation happened it's not a raw emotion anymore. With Amanda, she still clearly is going through it with that. And I really think Amanda needs to get some professional help when it comes to that too, because it's clear that both her and her soon-to-be spouse are still in the grieving stage when it comes to that. And and also too, I feel like that grieving doesn't necessarily go away, but like they're like I feel like they're still the infancy part of grieving and not really at the part where you're just living with it, if that makes sense. So, but Bose doesn't like Amanda, so she is using this as a way to find more things that she doesn't like about Amanda. And also too, Bose is so blindly loyal to Dorit. Are we surprised? We shouldn't be. And so we're also seeing here that this alliance of Bose, Rachel, and Dorit is a thing. And Rachel, throughout this dinner that they had at the very end, she made it about her and her divorce, and she took the side of Dorit. Probably, I mean, also because she was like kind of projecting a lot when it comes to her own situation. So, but it's just, I don't know. For those who are into this season so far, are y'all interested in like women being miserable on national TV, just whining about their divorces? I'm sorry, but for me, that's not what I look for in Housewives. I mean, if it was happening to one person, maybe. But, like, it's happened to 3 people. And it's just, like, also, too, these are, like, rich white women complaining about their divorces. And so I just feel like I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It just doesn't hit the same for me. I'm kind of just, like, irritated when I'm watching. And also, too, Bose is still coming off to me as a major pick-me. The other thing I have with Bose this episode. So the egg retrieval thing was not successful. And they basically are now trying to tell her, hey, maybe look into surrogacy. I don't understand why she didn't look into it to begin with, or look to find someone else's eggs and do this, because she just doesn't have enough eggs. And I'm not understanding, I don't know, when it comes to this storyline with her and Keely, again, I think I mentioned it last time that we had a review. I'm just not buying in on that either, because it's like, why are we doing all this work for a man you're not married to? That is the part that I will never understand. And I couldn't imagine doing that. And right now, I'm not to get into my tea, but I am currently dating. And things are going well with the dating. It's pretty much almost exclusive-ish. Trying, yeah, things are good. But with the person who I'm seeing right now, I could not imagine, like, hey, we want to have kids. Let's do the IVF and everything right now. So I'm not buying it. Let me know what y'all think about the Bose storyline, but that's kind of the other thing that's going on, which also is it's not piquing my interest, because I don't believe it all the way, because it just doesn't, it's something adding up with that also. And then the other people who are on the show. So Erica, she's just kind of there. She's trying to be the mediator, but she's clearly on Kyle's side when it comes to mostly all these things. And we're going to see that play out, because if you saw the mid-season trailer, you can see that that's going to play out later on. Jennifer Tilly, she's just kind of there too. Kathy, just kind of there. Natalie, I kind of forgot she was there. They're talking about sex for a little bit, but like, I don't know how well of a friend of she's going to be, but so far she's not really making a big splash to me. We already talked about Rachel Zoe a little bit. And Sutton, she's just kind of in the background too. And I don't know. I think after this season, Sutton can go, because I don't think we're going to get what we thought we were going to get when it comes to Sutton. And I think I said this last couple of videos. So I'm just kind of like, we don't really have much storyline when it comes to Sutton at this point, honestly, too. And really, I think I literally named everyone on the show and what's going on. That has been the last 2 episodes in a nutshell. That didn't take long for me to even do that review. My Benito halftime coverage was longer than this review that I'm doing for this show. So to me, I think Beverly Hills has a problem. I think there are things that there needs to be a shakeup. I'm sorry, but Kyle, you need to take a break. Please take a break. I don't see the purpose of her still being on the show. I don't see the purpose of Erica still being on the show. I don't see Dorit, she is trying her hardest to do something with this season, so keep her there. Even though I don't really care for her, she's trying. She's trying to give us story. And it's actually probably the first time she's actually given us genuine story. But like, I think that's why I just am annoyed, because it's like, okay, now we're finally getting the real Dorit, and we really haven't gotten the real Dorit for most of the time. She was kind of just coasting for like years on this show. But now we're getting the actual her. We got her in the first season, and then she coasts along until X amount of time, and then once the Fox Force flunkies disbanded, now we're getting the real her, because she's not protected anymore by Kyle. That's kind of what we're getting here. Same thing with Bose. To me, is a less interesting Garcelle. I liked Garcelle more than I liked Bose, because at least with Garcelle, I believed her story. I don't believe Bo's story. I don't even know if I believe this relationship with her and Keely, because it's just, to me, and for those who don't understand and probably are not reading in between lines where I'm getting at, for those who watch Married to Medicine, Quad and King, that whole situation, in that storyline. Very similar storyline, right? Quad and Bose are friends, and they spend time in Ghana together also. So it just seems like this might be a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the BS. So I don't know if I believe all this. I don't know. But let me know what your thoughts are. That's my review. Again, I'm going to try to review Beverly Hills because at this point I really have only 2 shows, and like Potomac is wrapping up. I have 3 more episodes of Potomac, and then I don't really have anything for a while. I kind of wanted to take advantage of that and take a little bit of a break on YouTube a little bit. So I might do that. I know Rhode Island starts in April, but Rhode Island, to me, when I saw the trailer, I'll be honest with you, it looks like New Jersey. There's like not much of a difference. And then, I mean, Dolores has a twin on there from New Jersey. She has literally a twin. And then there's another cast member that looks literally just like Teresa Giudice. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. But anyway, let me know if you want me to review Rhode Island. I think I am going to try to review it just because it's a new show, and we'll see. But I think at this point, I'm ready for Atlanta. I'm ready for Real Housewives of Atlanta to come back on so we can get back into that. And Ultimate Girls Trip. Those 2 shows I definitely will review. But anyway, that does conclude my video. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.